That's like 50% of this movie's soundtrack. So The Favorite is one of the biggest Oscar contenders right now. It has a lot of buzz behind it. It got 5 nominations at the Golden Globes. And needless to say, I was really looking forward to this movie. Just the trailers alone really interested me in how this movie was going to go. It had a weird vibe to it. I liked the humor that was going on in this trailer. But right as the movie was starting, about 15 minutes into it, I had to go to the bathroom. And I was like, you know what? Okay, we're fine. I'll just go, sometime in the middle, maybe when it's not as interesting. The problem is, I could not find a time to go to the bathroom because I was just so into this movie the entire time. First off, let's start with the performances. They are off the charts amazing. All 3 of the lead actresses are just phenomenal. Olivia Colman plays a really great, distressed queen, but also is in charge of everything, and she just plays the part of a queen really, really well in this movie. And Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz both did an excellent job bringing this feud to light and making this feud very believable within the 2 actresses. They all brought so much personality to their characters, and I was completely invested in them. I was always wanting to know what was going to happen next, and when a movie can do that, that's amazing. And the story itself was fascinating. I always love a solid back and forth story, like a competition to try and gain favor to win something. I always like those stories because competition is something that I think all people are naturally drawn to, because we can all relate to competing and wanting to win against somebody for something. And man, just from the first 5 minutes, I was just so into this movie. I knew where it was starting to go down. I had no idea where it was going to end up, but I liked where it was going down, and it just kept me invested the entire time. And the writing is just absolutely incredible in this movie. Some of it might seem over the top to some people because it is very elegant, formal, royal, stuff like that. But I think that's just their way of speech. I think that's how they would naturally talk, so I really didn't have a problem with it at all. And man, there are so many great comedic moments. Some of them are completely on the nose and that it's trying to be funny, and other times it's really, really subtle dark humor, and that's the stuff that I really love. I love dark humor, and this movie had tons of it. There were times that I was laughing harder than anyone else in my theater, and I thought it was a really great balance between the heavy dramatic feel of the story. I just thought it really helped balance it out, make it more enjoyable to watch, and it just kept me wanting to watch it more and more as it went on. Now, one thing that I've read from people that kind of off-put some people was the cinematography with the use of fisheye lenses and stuff like that. I did not mind that at all. It made me feel like I was there in the situation, or in a really personal environment, and I thought that was really, really cool. I thought it was a weird choice when I first saw it in the trailers, but in the movie ultimately paid off. And like I kind of said in the cold open, the soundtrack is kind of the same. It's either that or a string quartet type feel, and it's that track's in the trailer. If you've heard that and what I did in the cold open, you've heard about 80% of the soundtrack, but still, I think the soundtrack really gave the feel that it needed to in this situation, because those 2 notes going back and forth were really tension building. There were times where those 2 notes going back and forth went on for multiple minutes while stuff was going down, and I was just like, oh, what's gonna happen next? And that music just going back and forth between 2 notes, and it's actually the same note just on a different octave. I thought that was really great. It really helped build the tension, keep me invested in the story, and then also the track that you hear at the end of the trailer, this one.
Did you just look at me? Stop it!
I am the queen.
But you are mad.
That just really helped reinforce the setting, and there are a lot of other great soundtrack uses in this movie, but those are the 2 main ones, and I thought they really, really worked for this movie. The other thing that I heard really, really put people off in this movie is the ending, and I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm just going to say I loved that ending. Just everything building up to that scene, and then that final scene, it just hit me deep, and it stuck with me long after the movie's over. It's still sticking with me now because it just hit that hard, and I just loved how everything building up to it just kinda just met at that moment, and I loved it. There's not really any complaints or negatives that I have with this movie, other than maybe a couple scenes go on a little too long, but I loved the dialogue and I was invested in it, so I really didn't have a problem with it. I don't think there was anything that I could pinpoint that I specifically didn't like about this movie. I loved it. This was not a movie that I expected to love this much, but good lord, I'm giving this a 5 out of 5. I thought this movie was great. So seriously, if you get a chance, go watch it. It's one of my favorites of the year. It's out in limited release, I think, right now. But I think it's opening to more theaters this weekend, maybe. So if you get a chance to see this movie, see it. It's so good. I absolutely loved it. And I want to hear your take on the movie, so put your thoughts down in the comments below. I'm seeing Mary Poppins Returns in a couple hours from when I'm recording this, and I'm seeing Bumblebee, Aquaman, and Welcome to Marwen all tomorrow, so be on the lookout for those reviews. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to follow me on my social media down in the links below. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day, and as always, stay groovy, my friends.